After B.Tech, I was not sure how to apply to the software companies. I had no idea, and there was no platform like Geeks for Geeks. So I was like jobless for 3-4 months, and then I went to IIT Roorkee for masters. And I saw a similar problem. Although more than 100% placement was there, a lot of companies were visiting, but in the first few semesters, people had no idea what these companies expect from us.
Hi everyone, welcome to TechFluence Season 3, Day 2. We have with us Mr. Sandeep Jain from Geeks for Geeks. Sir, I would like to first you to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I am founder and CEO at Geeks for Geeks. I started Geeks for Geeks around 2009. I did it part time till 2015, and from 2015 I've been doing it full time.
So your journey has been a lot inspiring for everyone, students, teachers, I would say. So after the session, we had curated few questions for you, which would help students understand how to, grow their career and how to approach for the job. So I'd like to ask you those questions. What inspired you to start Geeks for Geeks, and what challenges did you face in building one of the largest online platform for computer science education?
So I did B.Tech from a college in Mathura. After B.Tech, I was not sure how to apply to the software companies. I had no idea, and there was no platform like Geeks for Geeks. So I was like jobless for 3-4 months, and then I went to IIT Roorkee for masters. And I saw a similar problem. Although more than 100% placement was there, a lot of companies were visiting, but in the first few semesters, people had no idea what these companies expect from us. Once I talked to my seniors, I got to know what are the questions they ask, what are the topics they ask, and once I qualified one of the rounds, one of the companies in placement, then I realized there's a big gap. And one more thing that happened very good with me is I was very sure that I want to be a teacher. Although for a higher salary, I went for a software job, but I wanted to be a teacher. I kept applying for teaching jobs after that. So with these things, I thought of starting Geeks for Geeks because I was in a software job, wanted to be a teacher, and there were problems that I saw when I was doing B.Tech and even when I was doing M.Tech. I started getting to know about placement things when I appeared in interviews, my seniors, and studied a lot of subjects. I was not aware what kind of questions they asked. So I had worked in D show, so I got to know how to write readable code. So I had decent talent also to solve the problem. I saw a big problem. With this, I started Geeks for Geeks as a blog. And my idea was very simple. I wanted to have a side income so that I can be a teacher at a lower salary and I can do this thing as a side thing. That's how I started.
It started as a sidekick. You solved the problem that you saw. That's a good point that the students should look at. Solve the problem that you are looking at, that you are facing, and that's how you need to approach. Good one, sir. In your opinion, how has EdTech industry evolved over the last decade, and what do you see the next big trends in this space?
So there was no EdTech when I finished B.Tech or M.Tech. There were, I don't know, I'm not sure. I didn't look at that time, but there were not companies like Byju's and Academy. All these companies were not there during that time when I finished M.Tech. And teaching salaries and teaching jobs were not very lucrative. Fifth pay, sixth pay, seventh pay commissions were not there. With the EdTech, one thing very good happened is teachers have now more options. That is one thing that has happened very good. At the same time, there are few negative sides also. When we are running an EdTech, we need to run it from the problem solving perspective only, not from sales perspective or from the business perspective, more on problem solving, more on teaching side. So that's how it should be. More focus should be on the product, more so focus should be on the teaching. If an edtech is running in that way, that's an ideal path. I mean, that's the path we have been following, and that's the path I look forward in future for us also.
With the rapid advancement in technology, how do you think students should approach continuous learning and skill development to remain relevant in the industry?
If you are in tech industry, then you will have to learn all the time. You can't think that I have cracked IIT or a good B.Tech college. Now my life is over. I can relax. Even top companies come to campuses. They will ask you questions, and very few candidates get selected even there. So you need to learn technology there also. Even after you join a company, you need to make sure that you're upskilling time to time. Abhi AI came, right? So everybody had to learn ChatGPT, how to use it, how to improve your productivity, and it happens all the time in tech. Even if you have 15-20 years of experience, you will have to keep upskilling, otherwise you will be obsolete. So upskilling is required at all stages, whether you're a student or working professional, how many years of experience you have. Plus one more thing is in tech, you also need to make sure your fundamentals are also strong.
Yeah.
Because a lot of companies, even after you have 10-15 years of experience, they still ask you the fundamentals, object-oriented programming, DSA, and all those things. So that is how it is, and that is how you need to be. That is how you need to keep making sure that you are upskilling yourself time to time.
I mean, a very relevant point, sir. Fundamentals are bang on needed, irrespective what technology come in and go. but the fundamentals remain the same. And that's why the top tier companies, even after 10 years, when we speak with the alumni and then they talk to the students, this is the same point. After 10 years, you're going to go back to the basics again. So basics are very important. What are some of the key qualities and skills which you look for when you're hiring a tech professional for Geek4Geeks?
So, if you're a fresher and if you know the fundamentals really well, that would be a plus. If you are talking about a company like us who don't have too high revenues on too much budget, what we typically do is we look at the fundamentals plus we look at the technology for which we are hiring. Suppose I am looking for an Android developer intern. So what I look for in a person is कि इस person को DSA ठीक ठाक आता हो, ठीक ठाक problem solving skills हो, थोड़ा बहुत DBMS वगैरह आता हो, साथ में इस person को ने कभी पास में Android में internship करी हो. I would always prefer a person who has done some experience. I would not care whether that company was a 2 people company or 5 people company or a big MNC. If that person has a professional experience, a practical experience, that is something I would always prefer.
So any experience, any internship experience, any freelancing work that the student has done would always add a plus point, a brownie point.
Right, that would be always very, very helpful for the students.
Can you share some of the most common mistakes students make when learning coding, computer science, how they can avoid them?
So one big mistake that they do is they compare themselves with the others, and that is where they struggle. See, I have a roommate or I have a batchmate who is able to solve a problem in a context in 10 minutes time. I feel demotivated and I tend to leave coding. That I'll not be able to do what this guy is doing. Everybody has a different learning curve, and it might happen that if you continuously work maybe for a longer time than him, you might become a better coder than him with time. Because some people learn late, but once they learn, they become expert.
Sure.
And that is how I was. I mean, I took a lot of time. I remember the first problem that I was trying to solve myself without looking at the code was the prime number problem. And it took me 2 days to write the code which was working for all the cases. So when you begin, you face a lot of syntax errors, you face a lot of logical errors. Many times you don't understand the problem first and you immediately jump to the solution. That is again a mistake that you make. You don't talk to the people. Do we actually need to handle this case even when you are appearing in interviews? So these are some common mistakes that people should avoid. When they are appearing in interviews, they should speak out their mind. That's very, very important.
How do you balance technical depth with accessibility in the content that you create for Geeks4Geeks, ensuring it benefits both beginners and the advanced learners?
So for Geeks4Geeks, the most important thing for us is accuracy. We don't want the content to be incorrect. We don't want people to learn incorrect fundamentals, even if it is not covered in very, very depth. If it is fine, if it is correct, that's the top priority. After correctness, we look at other things like what kind of so our target has always been if somebody is searching for a topic, so we kind of guess. So if somebody is searching a quick sort algorithm, so we kind of guess that this guy knows basic arrays, this guy knows basic sorting algorithms. Now he's looking at quick sort, so he wants to first understand how algorithms work. He wants to take a look at the code. He wants to compare it with other algorithms. So that's how we curate the content according to the queries that people send on Google on Geeks4Geeks.
Great. What advice you would give to aspiring entrepreneurs in tech field who are looking to start their own ventures, particularly in the education sector?
So for aspiring entrepreneurs, I would say begin as soon as possible. Entrepreneurship is a long, long journey. It's not a T20 game. It's a test match that you need to play like T20. You need to be active all the time, work hard. So begin as soon as possible. It takes time. So even if you're a student or a working professional, do it on weekends and try to build a very small product MVP that is helping say 5-10 people. Take the feedback. Don't think too much about scalability. Just make sure that 5-10 people are being helped. That's how it should be. And if you're building an educational company, make sure that your primary focus is not sales and marketing. Your primary focus is helping the students, getting the good results, and teaching them really well, building tools to teach them really well. So that's how your primary focus should be. And if you do these things right, in the long term, you will get a lot of benefits out of it. You might not get very high revenue in the initial days. For 7-8 years, I was not making any money out of Geeks4Geeks, and it paid me off really well after those many years in the long term.
Thank you very much, sir. Last one, how was the experience with TechFluence and LPU and Punjab this time?
It's always pleasure to be here at LPU. I totally enjoy being here, and I don't do many college talks these days. But when Saurabh told me that it's LPU and you must go there, I was super excited to be here. And you guys met my expectations. The organizers here, the faculty here, the people here, the crowd here, when I was talking, when we were doing this round table, they were super awesome. They were motivating us and they were very calmly listening, asking a lot of right questions. So super, super awesome to be here.
Thank you very much for
Thank you, sir.
being with us during the TechFluence Season 3.
Sure, sir.